According to former intelligence officer David Grush, an alien crash landing isn't too far-fetched. Grush recently turned over documents to Congress claiming the U.S. government has a vast collection of vehicles that have non-human origin.
All right, now take a look at this Las Vegas police body cam footage from last month. The video shows a green flash across the sky. There it is.
For decades, we've gazed up at the cosmos, wondering if we're truly alone. Now, the unthinkable has happened. A relic from another world, a testament to extraterrestrial technology, has crash-landed on Earth. Right here in West Virginia. Prepare to have your mind blown. We're about to unveil a shocking discovery that could rewrite the history of humanity. From eyewitness accounts to government cover-ups, we'll delve deep into the enigmatic details surrounding this extraordinary event. Are we on the brink of first contact? Join us as we uncover the truth behind the UFO crash in West Virginia and more. City's strange visitor. With the evening shadows creeping over the crowded city, workers heading home after long hours were suddenly stopped by an extraordinary sight. Above this very busy stretch of urban sky was a massive, very odd thing hanging silently, defying explanation. It definitely drew the attention of perhaps hundreds of people down that busy highway. It floated silently, observing the activity of the city from above. Given the number of witnesses, this was certainly no illusion. It was a true UFO. Many speculated it had been sighted, perhaps even preparing to visit soon. The strange craft finally moved on, leaving behind a city full of intrigued onlookers. What if the extraordinary isn't just something distant, but something closing in? Closer than you ever imagined? Unusual encounter. A quiet morning walk was interrupted by a sudden and eerie sight. Directly ahead sat a strange figure, unlike anything the traveler had ever seen. It was a long, wiry body, with smooth grey skin and an oddly shaped, elongated skull. Undoubtedly alien, the creature left no doubt in his mind that it did not belong to this world. Staring at the effect unflinchingly, at once he wondered whether the thing had been overturned, lost, or separated from its companions. Although his imagination was filled with every kind of inquiry, the man felt too apprehensive to approach. The otherworldly image remained imprinted in his head, pressuring all he had ever known about life on the planet to develop further into something beyond the human experience. Skyward surprise. One day, the sky became an incredible stage for a show that left everyone below awestruck. There was a massive cloud wandering along the horizon, with thin wisps of smoke hanging behind it. It looked ordinary at first sight, but it had a secret inside it. Suddenly, a glowing orb was shot into the air at lightning speed and aimed for the cloud straight on. There was a grand explosion of black smoke, turning the entire scene into a sci-fi film in an instant. The cloud disappeared as quickly as it appeared with the orb. It left an empty sky behind and free-roaming imaginations. An alien craft? A secret mission? Or something otherworldly? No one was sure. Anything but that display left some of the onlookers in a buzz. Beach scare. An exciting day for beach lovers turned to horror when a disc-shaped dark object loomed in the sky. Hovering silently, it cast an ominous power over beachgoers, who froze in shock. Their laughter turns to gasps with pointing fingers towards the craft. Some ran for their lives, while others stood frozen. The UFO hovered briefly, then bolted away at incredible speed into the distance, and the beach will be left behind with all the dumb-stricken witnesses, pondering for hours about what they actually witnessed and whether they'd actually just bumped into the unknown. Street crossing. Surprise. A massive object left a skywatcher speechless as it hovered silently over a busy US city. Above, a massive object with shimmering, glowing blue lights gilded silently over it. Its strange photo was unlike anything he had ever seen. Hovering smoothly, it defied aerodynamics as it moved with eerie precision. The man took a picture and recorded the moment as the silent craft continued its way. The sight reignited numerous mysteries about extraterrestrial life. After posting the footage on the internet, many were intrigued to know the same thing because the footage had already been reported by dozens of other witnesses. For many, it was another proof of extraterrestrial existence. riverside wreckage. 4 friends went to a nearby river for some exploration, but they never expected to find anything as remarkable as they ended up discovering. They found strange pieces of black metallic material scattered along the bank and partially submerged in the water. They bore no semblance whatsoever to any known aircraft. Their touch and their design were entirely alien. Local childhood whispers began flooding memories in them as they gazed upon the wreckage. So many UFO sightings in the area. A haunted place, a suspicious lot, and so they almost unanimously decided to leave. They were filled with more questions about the discovery than answers. Was this a UFO crash site, or was it something even more unexplained? Sky-high sighting. He was astonished and delighted that the hobbyist caught something really phenomenal in the sky through his trial run with the new drone. Hovering, a huge black and silver dish seemed to move very slowly but deliberately. The smooth, round movements of this craft created an impression that it was scouting the field, almost like vacationing tourists enjoying the view. Its stealthy existence and alien show made one certain that the craft was anything but ordinary. Not sure what he was seeing, the drone operator was initially hesitant to bring the camera for scrutiny, concerned that the craft would call attention to him. However, the memory associated with that closely resounding incident stayed for a lifetime, complete with a video rendition that only added to the mystery of what might be looking down at us. Mexican mystery. On the night of July 7th, 2024, a small Mexican town became the site of an extraordinary event. The very heavens proclaimed with supernatural purple beams piercing the dark of night, coming from some mysterious flying object. The UFO, glowing brightly against any background, moved in such ways that logic could not find a place to exist, holding the viewers spellbound. Its headlights pulsed almost purposely, as if inviting the viewers on the ground to attend. Is it a warning, a greeting, or something beyond comprehension? There could be no guessing as to its meaning, despite the interest it evoked, leaving the strange encounter a thick mystery and speculation over visitors from another world. Highway encounter. In Mexico, along one deserted road, an entirely ordinary trip suddenly turned extraordinary for all time. The man was mid-journey when he happened to look up and see a shiny oval object hanging eerily still in the sky. It did not move like a plane or a balloon. Surely it was something made by humankind, but somehow levitating, not making any noise while suspended in the air. Its odd qualities intrigued, but also gave an uneasy warmth to the driver who slowed down so he could observe the phenomenon. It was sleek, it was otherworldly, but most of all, it was sure to be the weirdest abnormality in history, an alien spaceship. Of course, he would be amazed now. He would never forget a routine drive turned into an extraordinary story. Night sky spectacle locals were treated to quite the spectacle in what calm nights, both inspiring and terrifying. Suddenly, and without warnings, lights lit up the sky with some quickly moving lights, twisting and turning, forming something very strange to see, as if huge glowing branches were making querulous designs in the night sky. Such lights left everybody below in speechless wonder, some musing whether it might be possible to be a portal opening into a new, fairer world, or a scene from an alien planet. For a few moments, the amazing phenomenon was there before suddenly dispersing, only to leave behind a rather murky memory and a lingering puzzle over the strange origins of this breathtaking event. Hikers' hesitation. They were found trekking through some remote mountain pathways, only to come across something wonderful that made them freeze in awe and fear. They saw something sleek and black, resembling a spaceship, floating above them with an oval-shaped object hovering just below it. It was both mind-boggling, but at the same time, it didn't give the hikers much hope as to what they were witnessing. One of them moved closer out of curiosity, but stopped as fear took over. This was one strange meeting. All realized that there might be danger here and opted for running out. Although they didn't get closer, they left with vivid memories of their encounter with the unknown. Hikers' discovery. Simultaneously edging up a steep mountain path, a a single hiker stumbled into an unmistakable sight from something like a science fiction tale. In the distance, a stark white object loomed against the wild mountains. Intrigued, the hiker scaled higher with it, knowing that this was no natural formation, a UFO. Definitely sleek and otherworldly in design, but silent, the UFO noted that this is something beyond the norm. Fearing the unknown, he decided not to approach and retreated with a pounding heart. It left the prospect of surrealism behind, inquiring how a craft like that exists without being noticed in such a remote area. Cuban curiosity. An ordinary evening in Havana, Cuba turned extraordinary in 2019, as suddenly appeared in the night sky a bright object. The craft had an unusual wing-like shape with a rotating lower section, emitting a bright light that left witnesses frozen in place. While some speculated that it was a UFO sending signals, others theorized about it being a secret government project or purely experimental device. The strange sight perplexed onlookers, leaving them to speculate about its origin. The entire happening was to add another flavor to the vibrant skyline of Havana, leaving witnesses with untold stories. Serbian sighting. In a peaceful Serbian neighborhood, one man was shooting with his camera the darkening evening sky when the sudden appearance of two glowing orbs jerked him awake. One blue and the other orange, the mysterious lights flickered and moved as though playing a secret game of hide and seek, appearing and disappearing through choreographed movements. Their unnatural behavior left the observer transfixed but disconcerted, and the event defied rational explanation. Speculation ran wild. Were these demonic entities, advanced technology, or extraterrestrials? The orbs vanished, as they had appeared, leaving the man and neighborhood witnesses with an untold mystery. Sea stranger. Out at the beaches of Panama, beachgoers must have been shocked at what they could see. Above the ocean waves, a UFO skimmed just beyond the water's surface. This craft gilded smooth, as though it were surfing near the sea. Glints of sunlight rippled across the water below, glimmering above the reflective surface. Speculations from witnesses were whether this was a new form of alien exploratory vehicle or a secret undersea highway for extraterrestrial visitors. The craft zipped over the waves and disappeared into the horizon, leaving onlookers marveling and questioning what they had just seen. Do they share their waters with visitors from other worlds? Ancient anomaly. At an abandoned archaeological site, a group of locals watched an extraordinary event that defied description. A long, thin object, not of any known design, suspended silently above the ruins. A large object hovered above the ruins, and its top opened to swallow a smaller object that shot into the sky with incredible speed. Meanwhile, the big craft stayed at a standstill, much like a shell protecting its contents from the outside world. But what was this surreal sight all about? Was it on a mission, spying on Earth, or some of the more enigmatic interpretations? It added yet another chilling chapter to the site, which already built up an ancient history. Sunny spectacle. In Mexico, a strange sight captured everyone's attention. There was above it a round, shiny object, glowing like a small sun. Strangely enough, the thing seemed to hover in the air, shift paths, stop in the middle of a move, as though watching what was happening in the space below. Its brilliant sheen and its silent, smooth movements fascinated onlookers, made many think about alien inspiration behind the bright, sun-like design. Gradually, it went further off, leaving everyone witnessing what had happened with questions, and so much more to the mystery of the universe. Airborne encounter. A pilot experienced a terrifying encounter while flying at high altitude. As the window across the cockpit showed, a black, sleek, circular object neared the flying wing quickly. It moved effortlessly as it glided across the air, performing maneuvers unlike any known aircraft. It looked for a brief moment as if this very strange object was looking at the airplane and, suddenly, changed course and disappeared into the horizon. The experience left the pilot shocked and later went on to wonder whether he had seen a rare visitor from extraterrestrial worlds in the skies above Earth. Ring in the sky. The event occurred on a dazzling day in Tucumán, Argentina. A day blossomed into perfection with the entry of a black ring, clearly perfect in shape, in the beautiful cloudless sky. The remarkable natural phenomenon floating weightlessly up in the closed atmosphere around the huge citrus farms of Tucumán. Scanning eyes soon did their job. Thousands of photographs clicked. Thousands more went to make amateur videos. People speculate wildly, imagining alien portals or advanced cloaking technology. Experts later identified it as smoke from an electric transformer. At least such diagnosis brings an element of the mundane to understand such exceptional phenomena. Yet, for many, the image above will nudge their hopes just a little closer to the aliens in the skies. London's nighttime. An everlasting mystery UFO had clung above the majestic moon of London on June 22, 2024. Floating quietly across the calm night behind a glowing moon, an unidentified flying object sped through the night sky. It was hard to notice without saying it did have an odd shape and ever so consistent motion, raising questions without number. To further spice up things, a strange, massive wire-like structure briefly appeared across the moon's surface, causing further confusion among the witnesses. While the object took its flight from the direction of the darkness, the city went abuzz with speculations. Was this the view of another world? Or was it just a rare anomaly in the London skies? Of course, the city was set up for a saga to spark interest and provoke conversation. And coming next, we'll dive into a discovery that's as earth-shattering as it is mysterious. Stay tuned. Nighttime Giant. This witness will never forget that old evening. A gargantuan black disc-like object appeared directly overhead. It was so big that it blocked out thousands of shining stars. The soundless craft gilded ominously, wherein this strange form of darkness was both awe-inspired and terrifying. The craziness did not stop there. It seemed to long have small humanoid shapes falling out of the UFO, never to be heard from again. As suddenly as it had come, the giant object was gone again in the night. Witness stunned and questioned the strange event. What were these figures, and where had they gone? It raised countless questions and less answers, leaving speculation about the origins to continue. Philadelphia's flying mystery. On a serene night in Philadelphia, a stargazer's routine turned into a jaw-dropping experience. As he gazed at the stars, a strange object streaked across the sky at an incredible speed. Its shape and movement defied all logic, unlike any aircraft or natural phenomenon he had ever seen. The situation grew even more intense when green laser-like beams seemed to target the UFO, sparking theories of a potential alien skirmish or advanced military tech. Despite the lights, the UFO managed to evade capture and vanished into the night. The footage, captured on his phone, left both skeptics and believers buzzing with questions about what truly unfolded that night. Chennai Sky Visitor. On one such quiet night in Philadelphia, a simple stargazer's lecture would be transformed into a gasp-capturing experience. As he gazed at the stars, an unknown object raced at an unbelievable speed across the sky. Its shape and movements defied all logic and were nothing like that of any aircraft or natural phenomenon he had ever witnessed. It became increasingly exciting when green beams that looked like lasers seemed to point to the UFO, making theories about imminent alien war or advanced military tech arise. However, the UFO evaded capture and vanished into the night, leaving many lights. The footage was clicked from his phone, and it still leaves both skeptics and believers with many wondering questions about what actually happened that particular night. Caribbean Curiosity. On July 13th, 2024, in the night sky flew omnipotent between Aruba and Venezuela. A UFO shone out of nowhere in full glory and cut the horizon like an ineffable light line through the illusional glow. It is therefore said to have done impossible, zigzagging, looping, and bending in a way that could not be replicated by any earthly craft by witnesses. The movements of the object made onlookers stand dumbfounded as it passed. Also, they could not believe what they saw. Hordes of questions were left behind in the sky as the mysterious craft eventually disappeared on the horizon. Reporters' revelation. Somewhere high above a busy city skyline, at some ordinary time, the camera crew, including a reporter and officials, was filming a normal segment when something suddenly caught their attention. Running quite close to the buildings was an object flying with such uncanny speed and precision that it could be discerned as a mundane activity happening behind the buildings of the city. The craft speedily flew out of view before they could point their cameras and leave everyone dumbfounded. The fleeting yet indelible appearance set the rumor mill that at this time ranged over the UFO crew. Was it an extraterrestrial traveler or something more terrestrial secretive? Moreover, the encounter was fleeting. The reporters left with an enticing story, with mysteries drawing power beyond the city scope. Mexican marvel. In those most beautiful years of Mexico, a tourist was shooting on tape in 2024, and suddenly it brought a very strange experience to the screen. While he filmed the scenery, a ball of light was moving inside the sky in a straight descending line. The movement was so perfectly deliberate that it raised admiration and curiosity. Finally, the light disappeared into the mountains, gluing the observer. To make matters worse, his camera mysteriously switched off at just that moment. The incident left everyone wondering what secrets lie within the orb, and whether this event might have been an accidental encounter with something from beyond. Italian intrigue. On the 16th of May 2024, a hiker meandering around the undulating hills of Italy would find herself enjoying a moment that would never be forgotten. Far in the distance, something seemed to fly over the peaks with an elegance which no known machine could mimic. Its form was unknown, but could be termed anything but normal. To call it either bird or plane would be incorrect, as it glided as if it perceived some subtle intelligence moving through the rather uneven terrain. The dreamer could not but speculate regarding this thing, as the ease with which it traveled through the mountains made her think this was something from a world without landscapes like those. The very incident left in its trail a much more exciting air of wonderment, as the enigma visited but did not stay long, disappearing into the horizon and taking away with him all his secrets. Chinese countryside. From the quiet countryside of China, an exceptional day turned into normal when someone spotted a strange disc-shaped object silently hovering over a field. Its metallic surface shone in the sunlight with a design better known from UFOs in movies and stories. The craft was still for a while, as though it was surveying the location, and lifted itself into the air, noiselessly disappearing into the clouds, leaving the witness speechless. The event has thrown a lot of conjectures regarding what kind of secret mission could have been accomplished by any extraterrestrial visitors, or whether they were just observing life in the countryside. Urban UFO. In the very epicenter of Seattle, a casual evening skyline shot turned magical when it turned into a close encounter of the mysterious kind. While the resident clicked the flashing lights of the city, a very fast and moving object zipped across the sky, zap short of the naked eye, but caught beautifully on the lens. Movements were like no other flying object gliding between the buildings with otherworldly prowess. As the sleek umbra of silence became clearer, it was quite apparent this is not a helicopter or a plane. That stunning footage was soon a hot news item, sparking buzz and awe among the residents that perhaps Seattle has indeed played host to an alien visitor. Fading giant. Somewhere at the calm shore of the lake, the townsfolk had a dreamily fascinating yet somewhat disquieting experience of watching a huge object in the heavens. Unlike any size of aircraft actually known, the giant craft was overhead hovering silently, causing an immense shadow to land over the area. The size was enormous, and its stillness could hardly be explained. It became almost unearthly. After what seemed like an eternity of hover time, the strange object started to fade, disappearing slowly into the distance without a sound. The observer stood astounded, wondering if he had just seen a visitor from another world, or stumbled across a mystery that will forever remain unsolved. Alien encounter. In a leaked video which sent ripples mining the internet, clear scenes from a sci-fi thriller played out. Deep within a forest, a bunch of soldiers stood guard around a stretcher, carrying a being from another world. It had a long, peculiarly shaped head, along with gigantic black eyes, whose body was tied down with big yellow restraints. Such alien features left little question about its being otherworldly. The camera got an eerie moment just then, and then abruptly cut off, leaving viewers more confused than enlightened. What was this being? And how did it come into our world? Rumors ran wild, but the truth was still in hiding. Homecoming halt. On a night drive through the deserted roads, he found himself frozen with shock at the sight hanging in the sky. A very peculiar light was hanging motionless in the sky above him, differing from a star or the glow created by an airplane. He stopped for a better view when the light unmasked itself to be a UFO that had illuminating blue lights outlining its swift shape. The craft hovered for some seconds. Later on, it launched slowly up the sky and vanished just as suddenly as it had come. He was astonished whether he had actually seen something out of ordinary curiosity or a mere passing glance at the unknown. Brazilian sky show. Some children outdoors on a cloudy evening in Brazil could not believe what they were seeing in the skies. With two bright orange circles illuminating the dark clouds above, much to the amazement of the kids, bright orange circles appeared, glowing brightly in the dark clouds. Unlike anything they had ever seen before, the circles moved in leisure, executing loops and patterns that could not be explained. Its unusual antics helped ignite excitement and amazement in them. Bedtime alien tales became a reality. As the glowing circles went away to a distance, these kids had a tale that they would tell for years, given a world-class, unforgettable celestial display and magic straight out of a sci-fi dream. Forest's secret. From deep within a secluded jungle, two friends went for a night wander, only to discover what they never expected. Hidden in the thick trees was a sleek black spaceship, its surface so smooth and devoid of visible windows or doors. It seemed to swallow the moonlight and glowed faintly as if it had an otherworldly light. As they reacted nervously, trembling hands shot videos and pictures to capture the surreal sight. Though the spaceship seemed abandoned, the feeling was that the people ironed nearby corridors inside their minds. What turned a simple adventure into an unforgettable mystery was this discovery: skull discovery. An explorer made a discovery quite unlike things heard of before at an extremely deserted place, sending a chill down his spine. However, half buried in the soil was a large skull, very different from those commonly known. The skull was massive with entirely alien shapes inscribed elaborately with some carvings and markings across its surface. It seemed purposeful and looked like writings or some messages from another world. The discovery left the explorer with the query of where such a form emerged from. Was it an alien that once tread on Earth? That skull now vaguely occupies his mind with abounding questions which science may never deeply satisfy. Forest flame. A man was driving through a thick forest at night when he saw a flickering orange light in the distance. For a moment, he thought it was probably a fire in the forest, till he noticed the movement was quite controlled, which stroked that thought away. It appeared as if that flame-like glow was rising and falling with an almost cool current. An otherworldly feeling exuded. This was definitely not a natural phenomenon. He speculated whether perhaps it was an alien craft signaling to others, or perhaps preparing for some secret mission. He was then holding his breath on the awe side of things, as he could not get it out of his head. Was what he just witnessed a blink of extraterrestrial activity hidden somewhere deep within woods? Jungle orb. An adventurous man drove an ATV through a thick jungle when suddenly he heard strange, almost otherworldly sounds coming from way far off. Curious, he followed these sounds until he came across a glowing blue orb suspended in the shadow of the trees. This orb pulsed with an unnatural light and moved in unpredictable, almost hypnotic patterns. However, that eerie silence, coupled with the unearthly presence of the orb, intimidated him to get closer. So, overwhelmed with a sense of caution, he turned back, leaving the mysterious jungle orb as an unsolved puzzle that would continue to remain in his mind for long years to come. Forest farewell. Within a still moonlit forest, a camper heard a low rhythmic hum in the pitch black. Emerging from his tent, the camper was met with the sight of a massive spaceship, glowing in the moonlight, hovering silently above the treetops. White lights on the craft began to pulsate, brightening as the hum became louder. It rose slowly, deliberate and grand, as if preparing for takeoff, before vanishing into the night sky. The silence enveloped the forest. What had brought this craft to the Earth? What did it take back to the stars? And now, the last piece of the puzzle. What secrets lie hidden in the heart of the forest, waiting to be uncovered? The truth may be closer than you think. Woodland wreckage. A cosmic anomaly cascaded through the open tree canopies, where within a wild and desolate forest, a hiker somehow happened upon a sight straight out of a sci-fi movie. Hidden among fallen leaves and withered undergrowth were some parts of a very old, alien-looking spacecraft. Even without a close inspection of its worn and corroded surface, it could be pretty much called otherworldly, with strange patterns etched into the surface. Having been long abandoned without human activity, this craft has probably been here for decades, maybe even centuries, and its origin remains a mystery. Very slowly, the hiker approached the usually quiet vessel with a curious look to it. What kind of story might it hold? It had an eerie sense of awe in its antiquated appearance, and it roused questions of who or even what left it behind. Thanks for watching. If you found this video mind-blowing, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible content. And don't forget to check out our next video, where we'll delve deeper into the mysterious world of UFOs. See you there.